Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another election prediction. This time it is between President Joe Biden and Vivek Ramaswamy. He's currently actually polling a lot better than expected pretty much early on, but again, a lot of his support is from the online polls, and sometimes they can give weird results, like weird fringe candidates get a lot of a boost in those online polls. Sort of like with how Andrew Yang, he didn't really do that well in the primary, but he had a lot of online poll strength and those types of things. But let's get right into it. So I think Vivek Ramaswamy would honestly be a extremely weak candidate for the Republicans to run for the presidency. I really think he would struggle quite a bit just based on all the positions he has taken. Let's go down the list of the unpopular ones he has. So he wants a 6-week national abortion ban. He wants to end the Department of Education, which is kind of just a very fringe take right there, policy wise. He also wants to raise the voting age to 25, and you could vote earlier than that if you just do a whole bunch of stuff if you're serving in the military or something. But again, I think that's also another unpopular position of his, which would definitely cost him some votes. But let's get right into this. So, starting off with Colorado, it's just trending more and more Democratic. Will pretty much be a pretty safe state for Biden here. Same with New Mexico and Virginia. Vivek Ramaswamy is no moderate. Biden's a lot more moderate on the issues than Vivek is, especially with his appeal to independent voters. Biden could do a lot better than Vivek as well. In Maine and New Hampshire, honestly, Maine would just be safe Democratic. Same with New Hampshire. Really going to be competitive just because of Ramaswamy's like unpopular positions. Definitely not sitting with a lot of independent voters in New Hampshire. We saw that with Don Bolduc, who took a lot of fringe positions in the Senate race, and he pretty much lost it by 8 or 9 points or so. He lost it by a likely margin. I think Vivek would lose even worse because it's an election year. Democrats will be more engaged into turning out in a presidential election. The next few states I would rate, let's see. We'll go with Minnesota, which honestly would probably be, I think it would teeter on that 10-point margin, but it would be a 9-point victory for Joe Biden in the state of Minnesota. Michigan would be a likely victory as well, just because of how Vivek, again, he's extreme on the issues. He really wouldn't perform that well in Michigan, honestly. Pennsylvania, it would teeter to likely, but it would probably be a 4-point victory for Biden in the state. Honestly, it might just be likely just because of all the extreme abortion ban positions he's been for. I think Biden could probably win it by 5 or 6 points, more than 4. But honestly, it would be a likely state. I don't think Vivek has a shot in Pennsylvania. I mean, the positions he's advocating for wouldn't be popular in the state at all with independent voters. The next state is Wisconsin, which I think Biden would pretty much easily win. He'll probably win the state by 3 or 4 points, probably 4 against Vivek Ramaswamy. Nebraska's second would probably go to Biden by a likely margin. Even Nebraska's first, I'm going to turn it down to a likely margin. I think Vivek underperforms Trump that badly in that district. Okay, the next few states. Ohio, Vivek's home state. I think he'll be able to win it, just barely, by about a 2 or 3 point margin or so. Same with Iowa. It's again the Republican trends here really saves Ramaswamy's campaign. Otherwise, Biden could really flip both these states with how out of touch he is with the independent voters on these issues, which would just be super unpopular with independents in both these states. But he just barely wins them because of the really favorable trends for like the white working class voters are just turning more and more Republican here. It'd probably stop the clock on that a little bit, but again, Republicans have such advantage in both those states long term. The next few states. Let's say Florida's up next. Again, Democrats are just losing in the registration battle in Florida, so even with Vivek Ramaswamy being a little bit crazy on the issues, I think you could still take Florida, and Alaska would even go very competitive as well. Biden has a real shot at winning it against Vivek because of how not moderate he is on the issues. Arizona and Nevada, I would put Arizona as even likely Democratic. I really think you get crushed here with independent voters. Even with Biden's approval rating being quite low, I really think that doesn't matter considering Biden does get a lot of disapproval from the left in these polls as well. With Vivek Ramaswamy being so right-wing, it really put off a lot of independent voters. And even independents who lean right, who disapprove of Biden, they would probably go slightly towards Biden a bit just because of how extreme Vivek Ramaswamy is. So people like Republicans that voted for Biden in 2020, they would probably back Biden again here because of how extreme Vivek is. That's what I'm trying to say. But in Nevada, it would probably go lean Democratic. Again, Arizona would probably be a bit more Democratic than Nevada in this situation. In the southern states of Georgia and North Carolina, I think both these states pretty much easily go towards Biden. He just does a lot better with the independent voters in both of them. And Maine second, I even see this district flipping towards Biden by a lean margin because, again, these voters are more moderate type of voters. We see that in the Jared Golden getting elected here, a moderate Democrat, while Vivek Ramaswamy is just so extremely right wing, he would put off voters in Maine second. And now the state would cause a lot of dominoes to fall for the Republican Party. I really think that the nominee is Vivek Ramaswamy. He would honestly lose Texas. I really think him wanting to ban or get rid of the Board of Education would sink him here. Plus, he wants to raise the voting age to 25. I think that would just engage youth turnout to go even higher than it was in 2020 because that's taking away someone's vote, the right to vote away. I think that would just cause urban turnout to skyrocket. Plus, all these extreme positions, Biden will be able to win over these persuadable independent voters to his side just because of how out of touch Vivek's policies are with most Americans. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I think Biden probably wins the popular vote by around 6% against Vivek, maybe even 7. Honestly, looking at this map, I would say 6.5%. I would say that would be the margin of victory. I'll see you guys in the next one.